factual programming on TV. In fact, there are so many it can become so easy to mistake one type to another as there are mixtures. Examples of different types of factual programs would include news, chat shows, reality TV, or documentaries. However, not all factual programming can be fully trusted nowadays. The news is said to be a factual program that gives us, the audience, factual information, world-based of daily life and even past tense and future. Really to believe most of what they say? Even in newspaper and magazines, the stuff out of there is just pure garbage, published to just pure satisfy our hunger for pointless entertainment. We do not realise it or have any awareness, but we are being fed tons of rubbish every day. Our brains are becoming filled with crap, such as the latest celebrity gossip, such as a sweat patch being identified on Katie Price's armpit. Over stuff. Another issue about the news is that not all their stories and reports are accurate. This makes it more and more difficult for us to maintain trust with them at the time, but we could be being told information that is not even true or fully accurate. For example, there was a story on Fox News claiming false given information. During a report Saturday about the World War II memorial being closed due to the government shutdown, Fox News erroneously claimed that President Obama has offered to pay out for his own pocket for the Museum of Muslim Culture. This information delivered by Fox and Friends weekend co-host Anna Koyman came from the National Report. The website featured a fake story stating that amid the government shutdown that had caused various museums, memorials and national parks to close, the president would use his own money to open the federally funded International Museum of Muslim Cultures. Don't get me wrong, majority of the time news can be correct and accurate, but not all the time. False information can negatively affect us, giving influence and causing confusion to the public. When talking about documentaries, it is split into different branches and topics and types of documentaries. You see, you have historic, biography, science or nature. There are also so many documentaries that there are all different. All factual programs contain their own codes and conventions. What are you doing, mate? I was filming. Yeah. When talking about documentaries, it is split into different branches and topics and types of documentaries. You see, you have historic, biography, science or nature. There are so many documentaries out there that they're all different, but all factual programs contain their own codes and conventions. Codes and conventions help us identify meanings in signs, visual or audio, and every type of factual programs do possess them to make it what it is. Let's look at the chat show. The codes and conventions, first of all, you have a studio, you have a presenter, a celebrity guest, seats, the live audience, and don't forget the set design and lighting, which is usually bright and eye-catching. Even the way programs are edited can show traces of codes and conventions, helping us identify the program. News report, the codes and conventions are different. When you think of typical codes and conventions in the news, you would generally think of a desk, reporter, office background, archive footage. What these codes and conventions in the news report mean is to create a formal impression and sense onto the audience, therefore most likely appealing to adults, possibly aged between 23 and 70. Codes and conventions help create a meaning and help create a genre, helping us as an audience identify specific programs. Expectations. You can easily identify codes and conventions on any factual program you see on your daily TV. Techniques are key in documentaries. Different techniques stretch the branch of different styles and types of factual in documentaries. Different techniques stretch in documentaries. Different techniques stretch the branch of different styles and types of factual documentaries. A quick list of them would involve Fly on the Wall. You also have historic, biography, science and nature, each having their own style and specific form, giving them identities. For example, a biography documentary will tend to show images of people who the biography is based on. It would show interviews featuring people who knew that specific person or normally narration usually being heard while images are being shown. Going off the topic of different types of factual programs, now on to different modes. Well, different modes of factual programming are based upon how it is filmed. The modes you have are observational, participant, poetic, expository, reflexive, and performative. I will explain to you the main modes and what they are. Poetic mode is using a series of lighting, sound, and images to help show an understanding truth related to the topic, in the style you would normally see in films, being creative and expressive, which helps tell the story. For example, in some documentaries, you will see reenactment footage, and that will be poetic. Expository mode is exposing information to an audience. This kind of mode can be seen in factual programs such as the news, which is a perfect example of expository material. The news is pure information for us, being the audience, either exposing the hidden truth or on a particular person, or information on a situation in addition. I feel like Eminem now. Observational mode is one that Observational mode is one that observes specific action or people. Usually you will tend to see hidden camera programs that defines this mode easily. Fly in the wall technique is just a great example of mode. There is no acting, no scripted material, just pure capturing of live action and live people. The purpose is to just purely observe either the people are being watched or aware of the cameras, or they're not aware. Participant is a mode that involves one or more persons in particular who largely contribute to that program by throwing themselves deep into what is featured on the documentary and what it is about. Usually presenters participate in travelling around regarding information on what the program is based about, either taking part in physical activities or just attempting to acquire important information from people and sources. An example of this would be a Lou Ferrigno documentary. In his programs, he travels around the world recovering vital information by talking and interviewing people. For my own understanding, I have had to watch and analyse a factual program in particular, and to look into it and see how it is filmed. The camera techniques, lighting, editing, the style, its codes and conventions, and what mode it uses. News and the American documentary film Super Size Me. The BBC One News uses the expository mode. Throughout all, it only focuses on information regarding the world, its issues or stories about people and society. Its target audience will be British. Wait a second. 20. Its target audience will be British young adults aged around 20 all the way to older adults, usually possibly around 70 years old or higher. By knowing this, I looked at its codes and conventions, and I will explain them to you and why this is its target audience. The news is always formal and well professional. It's also organised. They use adult presenters who are dressed in suits and use formal language, no slang or anything. The main presenter sits at a desk in his newsroom, showing a hint of formality and tidiness as papers are laid out on the table. Also, the background in the newsroom usually consists of offices, also emphasising formality. In addition to its codes and conventions, the music they always have. In addition to its codes and conventions, the music they use has a sense of seriousness and importance, and there is also the gong of the London Bell Tower, if you may hear, giving a British sound, helping to relate and engage closely towards Brits. The studio newsroom is well lit to help us see the presenter well and clearly. The editing mostly consists of cuts from the newsroom into archive footage of the story being told, or even other reporters live on the scene, and even the weather reporter. All in all, it is very well organised and put into formal content, and its purpose is to purely give us British audience information around the world or just in Britain. It is expository mode, as it exposes truth and information regarding on any subject, either being celebrity or local killing or a certain situation from somewhere else in the world, feeding us pure information. As for Super Size Me, this was my other factual program I looked at. I carefully looked into Super Size Me, the American documentary film, which uses participant mode but also contains a mixture of expository, and I will explain to you why and how, as you may be curious to wonder. First of all, Super Size Me involves one man who gives out large amount of information about McDonald's restaurants across America. He also takes on a challenge, contributing himself physically towards the documentary. What he does is, he eats nothing but McDonald's for a month to see the effects it can inflict upon our bodies. So it is all to give us information as an audience, the fact we can benefit from watching this documentary. Throughout, he travels across America meeting different people and acquiring information from them regarding fast food, and even from the doctors he visits. Also, he personally explains much information about the global company using narration and statistics and even graphic images, helping us to receive a better and clearer understanding, thus giving the identity of expository mode, as it also tells us the truth about fast food, what effects it has on us and the issues with McDonald's and its health standards within its food, contributing into it partially for our entertainment, but also to shock us with the results that effects that are given, which helps deal a larger impact on us. In terms of style and techniques, it is filmed in a way to put you right in the location and situation, which being used is handheld or a camera that's mounted on the shoulder, filming all the live action, such as when the lead guy goes to McDonald's, buys and eats his food, using close-up shots to see the reaction in his face towards the amount of junk food he's stuffing in his face and into his system. This helps allow us to feel a connection with him by seeing his emotion and how he's feeling, giving a more realistic view. The music used in the documentary is mainly traditional American, since it is an American documentary about McDonald's. Therefore, the target audience most likely would be Americans. In all, this documentary is a mixture of expository techniques and participants using shock tactics, in addition to help grab the audience's attention and make them realise the truth and also educate them, creating an entertainment and very important factual documentary. That's all you need to know.